Hello! World tour. Let's go! Barn. Different barn. Same barn again. Red barn. Starting to think we have a lot of barns. Fountain. Definitely not a barn. Campfire. Animal barn. I'm going to change this up. We can't just keep showing barns. And to change it up we shall. None of this editing malarkey. We're just going to do this old school. Me wandering around our Minecraft world, giving you guys a tour. So this is a world that I play with my family. Mostly my stepdad. My stepdad's probably created around 75% of this. I'd say that's fair. I've played the second most. My stepsister's played quite a lot. And my stepbrother, one of my stepbrothers has played a little bit. We're trying to convince him to play a little bit more. And he has been on a lot more recently. So we're going to start with this, what I want to call it a Victorian manor house. That's sort of what it looks like to me. We're just going to glide down here using our elytra. So just before you come up to the manor house, you can see he's got a really nice bridge here. I'm a massive fan of bridges, and I think they're really hard to do well. And I think the thing that makes this bridge is like it's almost like a semicircle underneath it that it looks supported. You know, some bridges that are also in this village as well don't look quite as supported, and I think this one, he's done a really good job on making it look realistic. And you'll notice he likes buttons. He likes putting buttons on builds. You can normally tell when it's his build just by the sheer amount of buttons. I don't think this is furnished. I think he said that everything is basically in Minecraft. The way I see it is that nothing is ever finished. It's just abandoned. You will just keep working on things. And there's no rush. We don't put pressure on ourselves to do stuff. But obviously, this is empty right now. I don't really know why. There's 4 strips of wool just chilling. Don't know. Strange interior, but massive place. And by doing some floors and stuff, you can almost see the floors like here. It's got massive potential. And then there's another bridge here. I really like this bridge. I really like that bridge as well. Just little bridges. And you can see all around. You'll see around this village. We've been recently working on the little things. Oh, well, I've only been doing a little bit of it. My stepdad's been doing most of it. But it's just lighting things up. You'll see a lot of this. This is my idea. Oh, well, I got it from a YouTuber. But this is my idea. So it's just hiding light sources. I think it looks a lot better. It makes it look a bit more natural. So we're going to go on to one of my stepbrother's builds, which is a hobbit hole. I'm not going to show everything in this world because that would take all day, but I'm just going to gloss over the highlights. So this is a nice little path. Could do a little bit more with the entrance, but, we don't want to overly critique people here. And then we just come down here, and it's a nice, it's like I say, it's got everything that needs work. Everything needs work in this world. Nothing is ever 100% done. But this is nice. I mean, he's got some iron there that he hasn't mined, and we are very low on iron on this world. So, right. I just said I didn't want to spend all day, checking everything out, and I'm now checking everything out. This is cool. I like this. Although I would put, grass here instead of dirt. I think that would look a lot nicer. So we'll come back up here, and we shall go. So this is this is a iron farm. Like I just said earlier, we're really low on iron. And because this is Minecraft Bedrock, just farms are really annoying on Minecraft Bedrock. And so this is another bridge. This one isn't, I don't think this is finished. But you can see like a nice little, almost like a sewer line there. I really like that. But this is all quite new. We're coming up to my favourite bridge in a minute. But farms don't really work on Bedrock, and it can be quite frustrating. And I know I've tried to make an iron farm. My stepdad's tried to make an iron farm, and my stepbrother's currently trying to make this one. And we haven't had a lot of luck. So fingers crossed that one works. This is really nice. This is, I think, was made in the last few days. This world's been active since January, and I've been on it since April. So some of these things are older than others. But this is pretty brand new, and like you say, buttons galore. There isn't really anything over here. This was very recently. So this is actually the old border. And so it's been extended quite a bit because we're running out of space. I really like this walkway. You can see the blending of colours and stuff as you lead up to the barn, one of many barns, as we saw in the entrance. We actually saw this barn in the little editing intro I did. And I also really like these pumpkin patches, and you can just see it's almost like a little garden. There's quite a few of these. So you've got this barn. This was built by my stepdad as well. It actually covers a mob spawner, which is underneath here. I'm not going to go down because it's literally just a skeleton spawner with a, what's it called? A bubble tube that goes up and then drops them down to like half a heart. And so they're just, dead in one click. you'll see these all around the village. They're so handy. They look good, you know, a nice little bench. But, you know, when it's nighttime, you just want to sleep. And so having millions of those around is just brilliant. So this is a little path, really nice. And then this is really cool. This is another one of my stepdad's builds. I promise I have built stuff on here, but we're coming up. This is a really cool statue. I really like this. I think it's really good. And then this is a zoo. So this isn't something that my stepdad built finally. This is my stepsister's zoo that needs finishing. So I'm just going to leave that there. So this is a really nice little, I think it's meant to be a woodcutter's cabin. Yeah, so there's some woodcutters here. I don't know if it's furnished. We can have a little gander. Yeah, so it's a little bit furnished. I really like this little fireplace. A problem I have with my builds, as you'll come to see, is that I tend to go for too big. Which makes them really hard to detail. Whereas if you just build a little bit smaller, sometimes you can have really good consequences. So this is my most recent build. This is just a really nice little house. I've got a little. I really like this letterbox design. It's literally just a stick and a barrel. This is really nice and outdoor furniture. This isn't actually furnished, as you can see inside. But I really like the blending of colours, and I've recently come to like appreciate like using different wood in like the same style, so everything blends together. We're actually going to an area that I don't really go over. So this is another one of my stepsister's builds, as you can see in the trees above. That house just back there was actually the first thing I showed you that I've actually done. So this is I think it's just, so you actually get, I'm going to have to eat actually. That's another thing that I've noticed with my Minecraft Bedrock. You seem to run out of food a lot like easier than you do in the Java edition. Just something I've noticed. You'll see that I have stocked up on fire rockets and food, but fingers crossed I don't have to edit something out of me just, you know, cooking. And I wish this had stairs because it would be so much easier. And you can also see that is my stepdad's watchtower. That's really cool. I remember that he built that in like a day. And so I went off one evening, went to bed, came back the next day, and it basically just appeared. And I was just like, also another spoiler, there is my hot air balloon mob spawner. That is brilliant. We'll have a proper look at that in a second. So this is another one of my stepsister's builds. So it's just a little house, some really nice colours. Not a massive fan of things that just that don't really feel like they should obey gravity. Like you can see here, there's another bridge. You know this, but then I guess this is here, so I can't really complain. We sort of seem to have a, I was going to say a shulker box system going, where we have different coloured shulker boxes. This one, obviously, she's moved them. I think she's got a house over in this direction, and so she's obviously moved them. But it's got a nice little man-made waterfall. Definitely needs a bit of naturalisation. That definitely doesn't look natural, but I'm sure, you know, like I said earlier, nothing is ever finished. This is a fountain that I built. I'm not happy with it. You know, the fountain is really basic. I like the greenery and I like the shrubbery and stuff, but it doesn't really fit. It's not like this area isn't really big enough for this, so I'm not sure how long this will stay for. And so we're coming into like the area where I sort of built. So I did all this. There's my massive base, and yes, I know it's too big. It is too big. I know it's too big. This has been a real nightmare to design. I've changed the walls. I've changed the wood. I've changed, you know, the roof 5 or 6 times now. I've spent a ridiculous amount of hours on it. And then we have a clock tower, which was built by my stepdad. That's really nice. And I decided to build some shops, which are not furnished either, in sort of the similar style. And I think that's going to continue around here. So I think this is going to be the rich district. And I think like the sandstone and like the birch wood gives it off like quite a posh look. And so I'm just going to fly up. Oh, I'm going to fail to fly. I'm really bad at flying, by the way, guys. You're probably going to see me like die. So I'm just going to land on top of the watchtower. And then you can see, this is probably the piece de resistance. This is my favorite thing I've built. It's just a hot air balloon. It's inspired by Pixel Riffs. It's not 100% carbon copy, but, you know, he gave me the website, I think, where you can basically make a perfect circle. And then I just sort of took some inspiration from other things I found online, but that actually hides a mob spawner. And with the most recent Nether update, farms seem to be a lot more efficient. So it's actually providing me with the rockets that, you know, I was hoping it would. So we're just going to have a little gander inside my, well, I don't like calling it a mansion because I feel like that sounds pretentious, but I guess what else can you call it? This is my concrete maker. It's a lifesaver. So the interior is sort of done on the bottom floor. So I'm sort of going for a medieval slash like Tudor manor house on the outside, but then the interior is meant to be quite modern. I'm not 100% happy with the back wall. This is the dining room. This isn't done. This is just where I store my shulker boxes. I think I'm going to turn this into a study. Hopefully you'll see on a future update video that I'm hoping to do once a week. And then the only room that I think, or the only two rooms I think I have actually finished in this base is the kitchen. I really like this kitchen. I think it looks really good. I think I've done a really good job on it. Shout out to B-Dubs, the YouTuber who did a YouTube series on interiors. It really helped, especially with like the double wall thickness. Nice little fireplace. And then we've got like the spa/hot tub room. I really like this. I don't really sit in it because I don't really like the look of the sandstone, but it's nice. And you can also see how organized I keep my what's it called? Storage. I actually have just built a storage center, and I don't use it as much as I should. As you can see. And then I will come upstairs, but there isn't actually anything upstairs at the moment. I've sort of just done like the second wall, so it looks quite clean, and it's also very dark up here as well. I haven't actually been in here in a couple of days, but a lot of work to do on that. That's sort of, I started this project about 2 months ago, and it's taken me a lot longer than I thought it would. I'm just going to sleep because I don't like the nighttime, because I don't like phantoms, and I'm not sure when the last time someone slept. The village itself, I think, is mob-proofed, but there's always going to be gaps. I'm terrible when it comes to light sources. You can see the amount of wasted. I mean, obviously we do try and hide. We're going to try and eventually hide every torch in the entire town. I have to call it now, but for now, torches will have to do. So this is one of my recent builds. I really like this. It's similar to I'm on a diorite bend at the moment. I love diorite. I can't get over it. And so I really like this. So it's also, I really like the roof as well. The colours looks really good. So this is actually my storage area. Originally, I was going to have it on the second floor of my base, but it's just so much more convenient because you can just fly in. It's so much easier. It's basically in the center of the town expansion, and it's mostly organized. Some of these chests are just sort of like junk chests because I ran out of room. I think I'm going to expand, basically do the exact same interior, but just below it, so I don't have to worry about the exterior. And so now we're coming out into basically what is now becoming almost like the town square. So we're just going to come out here. I really like this. This is like, I got told off the other day because I chopped down all the trees so that I could build this, but I've since added all the vegetation back, and I think it looks really good, and it's just really well blended, this cave, into like the landscape. Obviously at the moment there isn't really anything in here. I think personally that you can hide like bases behind like these paintings, and I've always come in here every few days and just hope that maybe something's behind here, but nothing quite yet, but maybe soon. You'll see so many crafting tables. The amount of crafting tables I've made on this server is immense. So this is the fountain that my stepfather built. This is way better than my fountain. Literally, I built my fountain, and then a couple of days later he built this, and I was just like, "Are you trying to show me up? Because this is unfair." And then this is another one of my stepsister's builds. It's all right. I quite like it. I don't like how it floats, but that's sort of been how it has to be. I really like this treehouse. That's one of my stepsister's builds. It's really good. These are really good. This is my stepdad's again. This is just like a little market. I really like, one of the problems we have with this village is that the original village is built on very flat, same terrain, whereas we're starting to try and incorporate more, like as you can see around here, this is sort of a later part of the expansion, and you can see we've got much better at depth. Just everyone in general has just got so much better at building. It's really cool to see. So that was the statue that we've seen, and then this is a nice little greenhouse. I really like this. This is probably one of my favourite builds on the entire server. Every time my stepdad comes on this server, I gas lyrical about this. I don't know what it is. It just looks really good. It's really well blended, and it's actually one of the few places it's got really nice interior. So we'll just check it out. Nothing amazing, but it just feels cozy, and it sounds really sad, but sometimes I just log off here because it's just nice. Nice and cozy in here. Go to sleep, and then go to sleep in real life. Just, the little things, I think, anyway. So we'll close that up, make sure no one gets in. So this is actually the prison. This is meant to be, I think, a villager trading hub, but it doesn't really work. I don't think. I've never actually used it. I hate villagers, so you'll just learn about me. I hate them. I think they're so annoying. This is a nice little fishing village. This is actually a really nice lake. I've spent probably 10 hours here fishing for mending books, and I've only ever got 2. So hopefully, my elytra never breaks and I don't have to do it again because it's horrible. You can also see another example of my amazing organisational skills. Excuse me, sorry if you hear that. So this is another pumpkin patch. We've got a really cool tent. I really like this design. Oh, it's just disappeared. So this is actually, I think, a cat on a lead that he's then hidden. This is my stepdad again, and it just looks like a tent as long as you don't go too close. Some nice little bits under there. We will check underneath. There is sort of like an inner network layer throughout the, underneath the village. So we're just going to come under here. This is a really nice little build. I really like the green grass. Another nice little. We're trying to populate the village, I think, with a lot more of these smaller little builds because they just make the place look a lot bigger. And I think this is the first thing that my stepbrother built on this server, and I think it's a really nice Tudor-looking house. You know, I'm not a massive fan of like the roof. I think it looks a bit like I don't know. I'm really picky when it comes to roofs. I think, and I think a lot of the problems I have is that I only build if it's perfect, and that's not how you should do it. You should just build because that's how you get better. But this is nice little nice. I don't know what this is called. Just a house, I guess. I don't know why I brain farted there. So this is probably the places that I go in a lot because I like to steal things. It's my stepdad's probably main base. He doesn't really have a main base, like he says. It's a really nice little fireplace. You know, you've got some. There used to be doors here, but they've since been removed. I don't really know why. And then you go up here, and then this is my stepdad's main storage area. And as you can see, it's way tidier than mine. You know, I bet there's only swords in here. Yep, see, you know, nice little. It's almost like an office. You know, looks out onto the prison, so he's almost like looking after it. But I come in here all the time to take things, and I'm really bad. I need to get better. I mean, I've been on this server now for over 200 hours, and I'm still reliant on my stepdad for basic stuff. So this is some nice direct. Obviously, this was originally built on a village, so I'm not quite sure what actually was the originally here and what's just been adapted. So here's a really nice little church. And I think he was telling me the other day that there was actually a congregation of here of like iron golems, and they all gathered in here as if like to get a sermon or whatever. I thought that was funny. So we come through here, and this is one of the many barns we have. I said in the intro, we're just crazy with barns. This is a really cool. This is a sheep farm. So the actual sheep farm is under here. So this is part of the underground network that we've got going, and this is an automatic sheep farm that my stepdad once again made. I'm going to be saying that a lot. Like I say, he has made a lot of, he's spent a lot of time on this, and it's really cool. If I ever want wool, I don't have to ever worry about it because it's just all set up, and it was done before I got on the server. Thankfully, So we've got some more cool buildings here. Some of these, I don't think I've ever actually been in there. I know it's it's a side thing for the church, of course. But some of these buildings I've just never been in. I mean, there's an iron golem there, so I probably should be leaving him alone. Oh, didn't close the door. My apologies. So this is a animal barn, which I mentioned in the intro. I actually really like this design. I think the roof. I always put under roofs on the inside here because I think it looks better. Because otherwise it looks a bit thin. But apart from that, it's a really nice design. The stables. I don't really use animals. I probably should because, well, I guess we've got infinite rockets now. So this is a really cool pub. See, this annoys me. Equal on one side, not on there. Not happy with that. The rose bush. So you'll notice my stepdad likes to label things. So everything has a name. So this is a pub called the Rose Bush. I just think that's really cool. Not really. I wouldn't really like it if I was a paying customer and I had to sleep here though. Where's the privacy at? So we're coming around to an area that we've been. Obviously, this is the newer area. I don't know what that is. It's just a cobblestone house, I guess you'd say. We'll actually go through here. I get lost here sometimes. I spend hours just wandering around, just checking out what's new. And that's kind of why I want to make this series, because I spend, every time I log on and something new's been built, it's one of the highlights of my day, just, walking around, seeing what everyone else has built. This is actually the first big project that my stepdad worked on when I joined the server back in April. And it's actually turned into our enchanting hub. I think it's meant to be sort of like an inn as well. So this is where we do our enchanting. I don't know. It almost feels like a working men's club or something like that. Like a place where you come and you chat and whatever. But I think it's quite interesting, and it's a really something that my stepdad does really well is interesting shapes. I fall victim to just using L's or well, that's actually a U, a massive U, or just rectangles and boxes. Whereas he knows how to make interesting shapes. This was where our nether portal was, but I've actually dismantled all the nether portals, hoping that will actually cause us to get a new nether, obviously with the new update. We haven't actually really done anything in the nether or the end yet, so there isn't really anything to show you guys. I hate the nether. So this is a really nice, another stables, technically a barn, but it's sort of a stables. And this is actually my starter house in this world. A lot of stuff had been built by the time I came onto the server, but I was like, I want a place to call my own, I want a place, I like the interior, it's actually really nice. And then so you've got my room. I've taken the bed out of here since then. And then down here is my first ever storage room. And then you've also got my first ever mine, which is down there, which I will not show you because it is boring. And then we come up here. So I actually had a door here, but I kept having to, villagers kept wandering into my house and stopping me from being able to click it open. and it was getting really annoying. And so on the left here, this is one of my prouder builds. This was my first main project on the server, and it's probably one of the only few things that I would say is 100% finished. Apart from maybe the interior, so like I say, not 100% finished. But this is a church, so you've got a nice little mausoleum here. Originally, the idea was that I'd put my bed in here, and then every time I die, I'd spawn in here, and, it's sort of like waiting from the dead. However, it's in an annoying place, and I just sort of change beds every night anyway. So you've got some nice little tombstone designs, and you can also see this is where I first got into the idea of hiding my light sources. I think, hiding your light sources, it just makes everything look a bit nicer. And also, when it's night here, it looks a bit gloomier. It's a graveyard. It's supposed to be a little bit creepy. And obviously with the open torches, well, there's an open torch there, actually. Whoops, get rid of that. No mobs can spawn here. Actually, a mob could spawn. It's fine. Don't worry about it. And then the only thing I'm not a massive fan of is the interior, because it's a bit basic. It's standard, but, And then down here is actually, I said that the, basically, this is a sewer, and I said that there's like an underground part, and I actually built this, and my intention is to build, you can see down there, that's not styled, but my intention is to make a working sewer for the entire, like a realistic town, basically. Towns have sewers and a drainage system, and I, wanted to make that. So that is interesting, but it's taking quite a long time. We're going to go into like an open area. This is sort of like a nice little house. This is a really cool build. This is my mind is blanking. I cannot think of what it is. I will try and come back to it in a second. It's a windmill. Of course, it's a windmill. Obviously, very cool, very tall as well. It's actually one of the tallest builds on the server. So this is a wall that I did. We needed a wall, and when we get to the map, the maps that we have on the back of one of the houses, which I think I will end the episode on, you will see that we can't really expand that much to the south because it's a swamp, and we don't really want to expand to I think it's the west, because it's a lot of mountain region and it's not very nice. However, someone has expanded there, but it's basically just the same design. I need to go over everything and just change it up a bit because I don't like repeating the same thing because I feel like it's a bit lazy. But like I said, there's so many things. I think that's one of the reasons I love Minecraft. You just keep starting new projects. This is another one of these bridge designs that just so many bridges, and I don't know how he's managed to make all of them different. So we've got some nice housing for villagers. You can get trapped up here. In fact, I think I am trapped. So we'll come back down here. I really like the different use of wood. I'm not a massive fan of that orange wood, but it stands out there. I'm hoping that my stepdad watches this video and will correct me. Is this new? Because I don't remember this, because this looks really good. Not saying that anything else doesn't, but like you can see here, this looks distinctively like the basic. This looks like it could be the original from the original village. Whereas this, I don't know. It just looks different, and I thought I would have recognised it, but apparently not. And just as I start complaining about whether this build is new or not, my recording suspiciously stops. Not sure what to think about that, but we shall carry on the tour as if nothing happened. I will try and edit that as best as possible, but I don't really know how much I've shown you. I'll just go over some stuff. So this is another field. I was going to say dodgy bridge, because it looks a bit like, I don't know, it doesn't look that safe. It looks a bit like it's hanging. But it's actually pretty good. Like I said earlier, just so many bridges, and it's so difficult. I just love that window. It's just hilarious. It's just so, inconspicuous. You wouldn't even really notice it unless the light source was behind it. And this is another, Victorian style build. I feel like this was an experimentation with, levels. Like I said earlier, a lot of the village is on the same level, whereas this, you come down a bit. And I didn't actually take damage then, which I thought I would do. I'm just going to eat some cooked chickens, but I don't. So I can keep running. And so this is actually one of my stepbrother's builds, and he has not finished it. Tut, come on, where's the roof? Where is the roof at? Not happy with that. I am going to sleep. I was going to say sleep. I am going to sleep in here, though, because I do not like the night, as I just said earlier. However, we shall carry on and look at more complete builds. No shade thrown there. Right, so we come up here, and this used to have... So this has been cold. This used to just be villagers, and they've just been massacred, basically. Probably unfairly. Some nice wool. I don't actually think... some of these builds, I haven't been around this part of the town in ages, and I just don't know if this is new or not. So this is a brewery. I have been in here, actually. because I really like the interior. Some nice, it just looks real, well, realish. So we're coming down onto, I think this is Main Street. Yep, Main Street. Got some, so this is actually one of the first builds that my stepdad built. This actually goes down to his first mine, and this actually comes out, so this is where the original Nether portal was, and I have dismantled it again. And then you can also come out and you can see, this is like an open part with like some farms. You've got some sugarcane farm, you've got some cactus farms, and then you can also see through there is where that connects to my church that I showed you earlier. And then if you go through there, that is where the sheep farm was that I also showed earlier. So I'm actually going to come out here. I'm not exactly sure this is going to... Okay, it's not going to take me anywhere because there is nothing up there. Brilliant. So let's go back up here. And I think up here, I think this building here is the first thing that my stepdad built here. And it's also where the original... so it's actually been completely like cut. But this is actually where the original crafting table was. So I had to come in here a little bit. But, you know, sentimental value. It's the first thing I think he built in this world. So, you know, got to remember where you come from. Some nice little farms again. And then we have, these are new. We actually just had some, you know, rather just plain cobblestone like walls to like house. What? Someone's been messing with this because this is meant to be the cow one. And this is the pig one. But there's cows and cats and a duck in here as well. No, it's a chicken. Sorry. But I just think this looks a lot better. This is, you know, it's mixing with the blocks, and then you've got some vegetation and just some stuff. And this is actually just a visual farm. We don't actually farm this. The farm is actually below ground, like I showed earlier. But these are just identical. You've got an automatic chicken farm, which gives me all my cooked chicken. I just take this, and I can't imagine anyone else gets any because I'm always checking it. And I've just noticed that we actually forgot. Well, I forgot. Can't blame you guys. This is a nice little farm. And then we've got the bee farm. I don't understand bees. There isn't actually a bee there right now. It is there. So, you know, can't say that we're not experiencing all the updates to the fullest. And we're actually getting to the end-ish of the main tour. There are some other stuff. And there's probably stuff that I don't even know exists. But I'm pretty sure I've shown, you know, another llama farm that I've shown you at the beginning of the episode in the edit sequence. I really hate it when people write on these dark wood planks because you literally can't read it unless you go right up there. That might only be spruce. That is spruce. Llama cut. So the spawn is actually on top of that roof. So obviously the spawn point originally was here. So when you first come onto the server, you will spawn up there. None of you will be on the server, of course, but, you know, you can dream. So we'll come back up here and just do a little overview of the village. I think I've done everything in this area. I've got 2 side projects that won't take very long to show you. Oh no, there's a new one. I'm gonna have to fly over here. So this is new. This is just sort of cropped up, and I'm not really sure what it is. It's almost like, oh, right, success. So that's like a guard tower. This is my stepsister's building. It's almost like been built into the mountain. I really like how it's gravel walls. It's just taking advantage of the environment. And, you know, I would never build on a, you know, gravel mountain, but, you know, maybe I should because some of this looks pretty good. Right, we are going... So I've got 2 main builds that are off the village, and I think my stepsister has one that is also away, so I'm going to fly there now and then cut it out of the video. So, see you guys in a bit. So, we're actually flying over. So, this is my stepsister's... I think it's a recent build. I was actually going to claim this island because it's nearish another one of my projects. But I'm quite glad that she took this because it's a really nice open like island, and it's just, you know, I mean, it's a bit flat off the roof, but something that my stepsister does really well is interior rooms. Like this feels like how a massive house would feel. Like it's just, you know, just different rooms. I can never get the hang. I'm gonna get in trouble for not closing all these doors. Nice little cats, but it feels like a labyrinth. You can definitely get lost in here, and I would never think to, you know, lay out these rooms like this. It just, you know, I think, you know, there's a lot of potential here. I don't know how much of this is done. I presume not a lot. See, I'm already lost. I don't actually know where I'm going. Where's the exit? Okay, the exit is here. Okay, cool. I'm going to try not to get lost again. And then I don't think we need to cut away because I believe that so this is actually, I started this basically right onto the server. So you can see this nice little path. I'll actually take this path because I like this. So this is a nice little path. You know, it's it's just coarse dirt, spruce logs. Nice little bridge. I sort of built the same bridge on every world I ever am at. Kind of too similar block palette, but it's not too bad. It's not as good as some of the other bridges on this server. And then we will come up here. And so this build that we're coming up to, after I've eaten my cooked chicken, of course, got to stay fed in these Minecraft world. But coming up here, it was sort of going to be like my evil layer / dwarven base, but I haven't really done anything with it. This isn't complete. This is just literally just to put here. So the original build. So what I'll do, I won't go down there because literally all it is like a slightly big. Actually, I will go down there because I'm already here, and I can just zoom out with my elytra. I love my elytra so much. Look at that, 360. No way, crazy. I did just fail that, actually. I was hoping you didn't see that. So you can see, it's not actually that big an area. I'm hoping to build this out a lot more. Going to make like a massive throne room in here eventually, I think. And then you come up here, and I'm actually going to have to walk all the way up, I've just realised, because the elytra. Well, let me try some trickery here. See if I can do like a 180. Oh, look at that. Brilliant. Excellent. Just banged my head. So that's taking me out here. And this is where I originally built into the wall. And it's actually a massive nightmare because I thought this mountain was going to be really thick. And then I got to here and I was like, oh no, it's open space. But I've already decided to build here. So eventually I'm just going to have to hide it. And I don't know what I'm going to do with that. And then I've got a really basic wall. It looks okay. I haven't literally done anything with this. And it's been like a couple of months. It's probably going to be, one of those projects that I just never finish. And then that is basically it. There's only one really... I don't think there's anything else to show you except for one of my... Oh, there's a creeper. I don't normally kill mobs anymore, but I could always use gunpowder for rockets, and I have a loot... Oh, look at that. Looting 3 swords for the win. 4... I always call it sulfur, but it's actually gunpowder. But the only thing that I need to show you now is a project that I was expecting to look a lot better than it did, so this is actually where it comes out. And it doesn't look great so far, but I've been watching a few other people make them, and there's a lot of potential there. So I'm going to just fly over there now, because it's going to take me about 2 or 3 minutes, and I don't really want to waste your time. Sorry, with all this flying, even though I am almost halfway there, and I'm still talking. But I will come back to you guys as I'm coming up to the last build that I will show you on this world tour. So we're actually coming up to the build just over this savannah. So we're just coming up over this thing, flying through the air. It's probably going to load really late, and it's going to be really anticlimactic, and it's only half done. But I'm hoping that I've actually gutted this village. I feel bad for them. But you can see here, I am currently trying to build a pyramid to rival Giza, and it is half done. However, because of the way it looks really flat and long. But you can see I've mined out a lot of sand, and I've probably spent 50 hours on this, and it's only halfway done. And even when it's done, I'm going to add the interior of this is going to be interesting to do, to say the least. This is actually just to protect me from mobs. And then the outerior, I'm going to have to do some I'm probably going to have to build a sphinx, and then maybe some towers to mark the entrance, because I'll come around the back where you'll see what it's going to look like. It just looks really plain, and it's not done. It might make it look like an Aztec pyramid, with the flatted top and then the pillars and stuff. But you can see it looks quite I don't know, majestic, I would say, but it's nowhere near done. And it takes so long because it's what is it? I can't remember. Oh god, I almost fell over there. I think it's cut sandstone. So it's smooth sandstone. So I have to cook it. So it's 1 in 4 sand to make 1 cut sandstone, but I've also got to cook it as well. Which hence why. And you can also see all of the... this is actually there were mountains here and stuff. I've just mined it all out, and it's made half of it. So I've got to have to find another desert. Anyway, that is, I think, the world tour done. Like I said earlier in the video, I'm hoping, depending on how much gets built, because obviously people have other commitments. Not everyone can play Minecraft all day, unfortunately. But I'm hoping to do weekly updates and just give you an update. It's going to be a lot shorter than this video of just what everyone's been doing. It's the highlight of my day, and I'd like to share it with as many people as possible. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.